So yeah, Joe, I think your way of describing novelty is certainly it sounds good to me. Um, as the interdependencies increase, we can assume that the amount of novelty is increasing because the complexity is increasing. And so I think, okay, if we're moving out of the freedom law paradigm, we're also moving out of the subject object mind body dualism paradigm into this this paradigm where we don't talk about things or objects or subjects. We talk about events. So verbs as opposed to nouns. Everything is an event or an experience. There's units of experience, if you want to say that, but we understand, of course, that the units are where we decide to draw the line. So the human event, the human being, the human organism, is an event in which many smaller um, components, which are also events, are combining to form this complex process which sustains itself for a period of years out of equilibrium, disobeying the law of entropy that seems to govern the less complex realm, the less novel realm of matter. Um, so a rock is less complex than a human being because a rock requires, a rock is going to stay in its form for as long as it possibly can until some novel event occurs to either break it up, the wind blows it into sand, or a human being comes along and turns rocks into Stonehenge. And when we turn rocks into Stonehenge, the rocks become more novel. Stonehenge is more novel than a rock because Stonehenge is rocks, artifacts that have, I guess, come into some kind of symbiotic relationship with the human event, the human organism, human intelligence. So, but we don't want to get back into that dualistic mind-body framework again and say that Stonehenge itself, the rocks, are unintelligent, and that it's all up here in the human mind that allows them to be intelligent. The intelligence now is more non-local, I guess we would have to say, and um, Stonehenge supports, just like writing supports a lot of human intelligence, Stonehenge supports intelligence as well. And so we can't draw the line between, not all rocks are equally novel. It depends how they're being used by other novel events, I suppose. All this is a very rough sketch. I haven't really thought about this, but I never started this whole freedom law novelty habit debate in order to be right about something and to say this is what it is and this is what I think and you guys better believe me. I'm just throwing stuff out there and seeing how other people react to it, seeing if it works. Putting it out there into the community allows um, for a lot more um, basically fact checking to occur. I can't think of every possible problem with this idea, and if I put it out there, everybody else can say, this doesn't fit with this, and that idea doesn't line up with this idea, and you've got inconsistencies over here, and so we're just building this together. This isn't my idea, obviously. It's not Terence McKenna's idea. It's maybe we're getting closer if we say it's A.N. Whitehead's idea, but he just got it from other people. So this is just the process of novelty entering into time and pulling us toward the future. And we're developing this very complex issue very naturally, and it's evolving, and we should continue because I think we're making progress. So, yeah, thanks for listening. I agree with your definition of novelty. Oh, you said that your definition is more general than my definition, which was as novelty increases, as the interdependencies increase, that the intensity of experience also increases. And I think what we might find if we go through all the different examples we can think of is that as these various components of an event or an organism increase in complexity, or the number of components increases, at the same time the level of experience, the intensity of experience also increases. So, with a single cell, with a rock, say, a single atom, you have a very minimal amount of experience. And this seems to go against everything science says. You know, an atom has experience. Well, you know, Whitehead called it prehension. An atom reacts to its environment. If you shoot it with an electron, it's going to shoot out an electron on this side, right? And it's going to respond in an intelligent, albeit a very simplistic, with a very little amount of complexity, it's going to respond to the environment's stimulus. When we move up to molecules, there's a little bit more complex response to the environment, right? When we get up to the first cells, the singular cells, then there's a very complex response to the environment, and there's a homeostatic equilibrium maintained within a cell wall, and that just increases complexity so much. That's a huge leap from molecules. From chemistry to biology, there's a huge leap in novelty there. It's a mutation that it shows how powerful novelty can be, I think. And then when we move from single-celled organisms to multicellular organisms, we get another increase in the intensity of experience. When we move to human beings, we have this noosphere, or this mind, that is that's another leap from biology to mental, conceptual, symbolic intelligence. And then I think, this is where it starts to get more fuzzy, but one might say we can then talk about moving from mind to soul or spirit, or to the next level of complexity as provided by the increase of novelty from the future, or from eternity, because it's not just coming from the future, it's also feeding forward from the past, which is the built-up habits, I guess. So as the interdependency of the components of these processes or organisms increase, I think so too does the intensity of experience. So I don't know that there's a huge difference between your description and my description, but let's think of as many descriptions as we possibly can to make sure that we're accounting for the entire phenomenon. So thanks for listening.